What up? What up? What up? It's your boy Tone Till Twizzle in the Hizzle. And we're going to talk about some track and field. We're going to get that out there. A little bit of music. A little track and field. Chatting it up. Talk about what just happened. Little track and field. All right. Enough of that. So I'm just going to say a couple things and I'm going to get on out y'all way. I'm going to get out y'all way. All right. For one, let's just go ahead and tackle some of the favorites. And let me get this out there. I don't watch field events. I couldn't tell you who long jumped the what. I couldn't tell you who pole vaulted. I don't even know who the heptathlete and the decathletes are. Never was into that. But always appreciated them because they're hell of athletes. You know, pole vaulting, all that stuff, all the field events, you know, javelin throws, all that. I don't know any of those people, but I appreciate their skills. So it's not a slight on them. I just don't follow them. I usually don't follow stuff like even the hurdles, but the hurdles have become interesting ever since Grant from the Gators. Start watching him because I like the way he runs. I like the cut of his jib. I like the way Grant Holloway runs. So I start watching some of him. And the women's, when it comes to the hurdles, I wasn't really into it, but you know, the chick from I don't know, she's from Nigeria, Toby something. She broke some records and she's a great runner. And then people started speculating that she's doping. And I don't know if she is or isn't, but that's always what happens. So I appreciate, you know, the skills that they have. Camacho Quinn, you know what I'm saying? The American Camacho Quinn, very lovely young lady. Love to watch Camacho Quinn do her thing. Yeah. So I do watch SCCs. I do watch college, you know, sports, but track and field. I don't watch college basketball or football anymore. But I watch track and field. So I watch college track and field. I don't watch anything else really college, not swimming or anything. For various reasons, but I don't watch them. But track and field, I adore. Men and women's. And I watch, you know, so like I watched, you know, I like to watch the up and coming and then watch them go pro. So Candace Hill was somebody I was paying attention to in high school when she was the fastest female in high school history, ran a 10.98 or something like that. Candace Hill is a successful runner. I think she's 24 now. She still runs. She, you know, she has a net worth of $5 million. She's doing good. You know, is sponsored by Nike. She's competitive, but she hasn't won any big events. But she's competitive. She's always there. She's always going to tryouts, you know, for worlds and whatnot. So she's competitive. To me, she's successful. So I like either Candace Hill. Tamari Davis. I started watching Tamari Davis when she was 14, 15, and she was out there kicking high schoolers' butts. So I was like, okay, let's see, you know, what's going to happen to her. Is puberty gonna kick in and slow her down? What's gonna happen? And so we have Tamari Davis, who is successful. I don't know if she's running professionally. I don't know who sponsors her, but nonetheless, 20 years old now, Tamari Davis, and is running in the 10 highs, so in 10 eights, something like that, 10 nines. um, and she just won. I think she came in second in I think it's the 100. I think it's the 100. And the last competition we just seen her in. So big ups to Tamari Davis. I was also enjoying when Sha'Carri Richardson was in college, LSU. I was enjoying that and watching her, and also watching, other people back then. Obadelli, he's not running professionally because of doping, but Sha'Carri was the big deal, and then I watched her win the big one and break the record, the college record back then, which is actually broken now by the young lady from St. Lucia. So, but it was 10-7-4, and she won the 100. She lost the 200 to Angie Nellis, though, but just by a nose, because she didn't lean. So Angie Nellis, beat her there. I think Angie Nellis is running. I don't know who sponsors her, but she hasn't won anything big. um, Also, Abby Steiner was, I've seen her run against Sha'Carri Richardson in college, and I just enjoy it. Kentucky, is some very good competitors. Abby Steiner is actually, her hometown is not far from me. But Abby Steiner got hurt, and then she had to sit out a year. Then she came back, and we all know the story. But Abby Steiner is still hurting, even though she's a damn good runner. Abby Steiner has bone spurs, so that is slowing her down. She's gonna have to go up under the knife and chill for a minute, because you got to get those taken care of, or you're just not going to. It's just uncomfortable to slow you down. Eventually, it'll take you out, and you won't want to run anymore. And if you can't tell by what happened to Sha'Carri Richardson, when she had to sit down after she was smoking weed, when she came back, she ran in probably the fastest race in history, and she came in dead last, even though she ran 11:15 or something like that, which is a damn good time. She still came in dead last, and it looked bad, but that's what happens when you've been out of racing for even a short time. Everybody's still firing on all cylinders. You're trying to get back into it. Boom. So Sha'Carri, but we look at her now, and she's going to Worlds, or she's going to Belarus, I believe it is, and they're gonna do their thing out there. Um, and she's gonna have to face the big dogs. But it's really something, because Elaine Thompson hasn't been doing very well. It's in People are saying because she switched, on the people who was training her. She's being trained by her husband now, but when she went to trials for Worlds, she was unsuccessful. She's unsuccessful in the 100, so there will be no Elaine Thompson in Belarus. What's happening? What happened earlier? Well, nobody was on, so I left. Yeah, that's what happened. And but we do have Sharika Jackson, who is running at high speed. She's running great. She is the fastest woman in the in her country, in the 200, and it seems in the 100. But we still have Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. Yeah, there was nobody on. It said 0, so I got out. So Shelly Ann Fraser Price, who pulled out of a race against Sha'Carri Richardson. We wanted to see that, but it didn't happen. So there's just been some, shenanigans going on. We're not getting a full track year from from some of these runners. And some of these runners belong to Bob Kersee. And people have been saying, hey, Bob Kersee, why is Athing Mu not running the 800? And the answer to that is because she has a bye. So she doesn't have to, rack up a bunch of points in order to qualify for the 800 in Belarus. And Athing Mu wants to run the mile. So what did Athing Mu do? She went out there. She ran the 1500. She came in second place to Nikki Hiltz, which, so what? Shantae Jackson doing her thing. Shantae Jackson has broke the record for the women's high school 100. She's the fastest high schooler. She kind of reminds me of Melissa Jefferson. But Shantae Jackson has jumped up there with the big dogs, and I'm not sure that she should have done that just yet. I still think that listen, I think the college experience, even in the first year, I think the college experience for some people might be a little better than jumping right into the pros. And I'm saying that because the way college operates and the way the pros operates is different. The programs are different. The money is completely different. You go pro, you got to pay somebody. This was one of, this is one of the big things going on now with Sha'Carri Richardson coming out and talking about how they're charging them extra, to take flights and for all this other stuff. And Sha'Carri's coming out, she's talking about it, and people are like, Sha'Carri, stop complaining. I'm like, there's a difference in complaining and advocating for the people in your sports. And she's on her platform talking about everyone in track and field. She's like, these people are charging us more for this, that, and the third, and they shouldn't be, and we need to say something about it because it's just not right. So she thinks there is some injustice that's going around, and people are looking at her. Why are you complaining? It's just like, you don't understand. Sha'Carri Richardson is Arian Knighton. What? Sha'Carri Richardson is the most popular female athlete, track athlete. There's nobody out there. Even if you're faster than her, you're not as popular as she is. She's the most popular athlete. She has made women's track, even though it was already competitive, she's made it more commercial. She's made it more commercial. She's put a different light on it. We were already watching it, but now the audience that's watching Sha'Carri Richardson, they just want to see what she does. It's almost like a soap opera. So she's very animated and she's very passionate. It's because she has all these eyes on her. That's not on Abby Steiner. You look at Abby Steiner, and I heard one guy make a comparison. Abby Steiner, she went to college and she has a college degree. Sha'Carri Richardson doesn't. Abby Steiner has gold medals. Sha'Carri Richardson doesn't. Abby Steiner, this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, Abby Steiner took a different path than Sha'Carri Richardson. For one, Abby Steiner was hurt in her sophomore year. Also, Abby Steiner wasn't running the same time Sha'Carri Richardson was running. If you looked at them two running against each other in the 100 and especially the 200, Sha'Carri Richardson was beating everybody in the 200 and in the 100. She won NCAA. Abby Steiner was hurt the year that Sha'Carri Richardson won NCAA. There is a difference between those two people. So Abby Steiner is like, I'm not gonna go pro right now. If she would have went pro, she would have been lost in the sauce. What she did, she took a year off. She got better. She came back and she won NCAA. Well, she didn't win it the year she came back, but her senior year she won NCAA in the she lost in the 100, but she won in the 200. And truthfully, she could have won in the 400. She also ran the fastest 300 time. She could have ran the fastest 600 time. She took down a 20-year time that was, you know, in the 300. Abby Steiner did exactly what she is meant to do. And you can't compare the two and say, oh, Sha'Carri Richardson doesn't have a college degree. Sha'Carri Richardson was making millions of dollars while Abby Steiner was still in college. It's just a difference. The program works for different people in different ways. So I didn't like the way this person made this analogy, but nonetheless, the program's working for both of them. However, Abby Steiner got beat in the 200. This person was also talking about how Abby Steiner was going to beat Gabby Douglas. Gabby Douglas' coach told her, do not run the 100. So Gabby sat out of the 100, got into the 200, and whooped everybody and ran a meet record. And she's the third fastest person, I think, in history to run the 200. It's like, why would you talk smack against somebody who's running at that speed? Like I don't understand this, how some people think. But another thing about Gabby Thomas, some people don't know, except one of her people she trained with, Kinnison, I believe, said Abby Steiner, and she said not Abby Steiner, but Gabby Douglas, or Gabby Thomas, not Gabby Douglas. Gabby Thomas has the inability to not absorb a bunch of sugar. You know how when you're running and you get tight at the end, she doesn't do that because she doesn't have sugar buildup in her system. So Gabby Thomas is a mutant. Well, she has that ability. Bryce Deadman, older, but still beat them in the 400. Yeah, I think I did watch that race in the 400. Bryce Deadman. I think I did watch the 400. Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you something. The 400 used to be really interesting to me, but I think I kind of lost the 400 interest when old boy who won NCAA is not, he's not even going to Worlds. What's his name? I forgot dude's name. But it's like, you're the fastest 400 that's out there. We wanted to see you run up against the guy who still has the record, who's running great now. And we don't get to see that, Rye Benjamin, he's still doing his thing in the 400 hurdles. So we appreciate that. But you got some people who stepped down from the 400 who I was really excited about watching. You know what I mean? And it was like, it just took the flair away when I forget what the guy's name, light-skinned dude. But when he wasn't, when I didn't see him running it, and then I seen him running things like the 100 and the 200, and he beat Noah Lyles one year, and I think the 200. But it's like, that's not really your race. Your race is the 400, because Noah Lyles, listen, when it counts, he pretty much is gonna take first or second. Now, he didn't in the Olympics, but I think he's gonna make up for that. So when we're looking at the 200, if we're looking at 200 men's, since you bring up the men's, we're looking at 200 men's. I mean, Noah Lyles all day. He ran what a 1931 is his fastest time. The American record was 1932, which makes him the third fastest person, I think, in history to run it. And the time to beat, he's not going to beat, even though he says he's going after it. The time to beat the world record is a 1919, but it's not going to happen. So, big ups to Noah Lyles. Noah Lyles has been running 100, and I think he's been doing that just so he can get a better start in the 2 and he can try to win. Not win. I don't think he's concerned about winning the 200 anymore. I think he's concerned about beating Usain Bolt. So, yeah, he really doesn't. Noah Lyles doesn't really have any competition in the 200. And I mean, you can put Aaron Knighton out there and say, hey, he ran a 1949. A 1949 is blazing fast. It's incredible. But a 1931 is just, I mean, he's got strides on you at 1931. Aaron Knighton hasn't ran that fast since. I mean, he's quick, he's super dope, but he hasn't ran that fast since. Now he's a little younger, so he's getting into it, but he hasn't, he's a beautiful runner. He as soon as he puts on some muscles. Listen, I think Aaron Knighton can actually go ahead and he can get pretty much down to 1920. I have no doubt in my mind once he puts on some muscle. Yeah, that's who I was talking about. Van Niekerk is the one who has the 400 record. I don't know if he's going to run the 200, but if he does, I mean, I'd love to see it. Hell, Van Niekerk can run the 100 and still do well. But he is running in the 44 lows, 43s. Now, I mean, he's come back from his injury, which I think he got from playing soccer. So Van Niekerk is back. Everybody else is running 44 lows, which is still competitive. But when you're running a 43, it just, I mean, especially when you run a 43.02 or something like that, Van Niekerk is strides ahead of people. His biggest thing is his injuries. He's just got to play it cool for them injuries. Listen, I love me some Karani James. I've been watching him since he was 18 and he showed up on the scene, kicking ass. My man from Grenada. Love Karani James. Love to see him run. But I don't think he's going to win worlds, and I don't think he's going to win another Olympic. I just don't. We got Quincy Watts. You got some young gunners out there, them young cats out of Florida, who's coming to the game. You got you just got some. Well, the guy who I'm thinking about didn't even I don't know if he's still running or not. But you got some guys that are fresh out of college and they're running some incredible times. 43.03. Thank you for the correction. I knew it was an O something. But what I'm saying is, when you're running a 43.03 and you're running like a 44, even a 44 low, it's such a big difference at high speed. And I think Van Niekerk, his only competition is himself, because Samu Konga. Who's that? Well, yeah, I was just trying to make the high speed reference. At that speed, you're just strides ahead of everyone. Yeah, just that 1 second is I mean, it's so far apart. It's just ridiculous because they're running so fast. So yeah, I think Van Niekerk's only problem is himself. When you're talking also about the 200, you're looking at Lamar Jacobs, who won the Olympics. Not the 200, the 100, but Jacobs got COVID, and he got COVID, and he, lost some weight. Had to deal with that whole thing. I mean, he's running again now, but he's not as fast as he used to be. Some of the young gunners are just ridiculous. I mean, you're looking at uh some of the Africans are coming up and running 998s, uh, and doing well. Who the Omanyala, that's his name, who was talking smack to Fred Curley. Why? Why would you do that? He was talking about, he was talking smack to Fred Curley, and Fred Curley lined up with him, against Omanyala. And, because he was talking about he wasn't going to get beaten. And here comes Fred Curley. And Omanyala got a good jump on him, had him at the 60. But he turned on the Jets 80 yards. It was over. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. No, not the world record for the 400. He had it. Huh. I gotta look him up. But yeah, so but when we're looking at Fred Curley, we just saw Fred Curley try to qualify for Worlds, and he lost in the 200. So yeah, don't know what's going on there. He wasn't looking very good in the rounds. And yeah, so yeah, Fred Curley, everyone. Still love Fred Curley. Kenny Benderek beat him, and the young man beat him in the 200, who we were talking about earlier, Arian Knighton. So it was Arian Knighton, Kenny Benderek, and forgot who else it was. Noah Lyles did not have to run because he has a bye. So he did not have to run in that competition. So what else we got? Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce ran the 200 to go to Worlds. She came in second. She's beat by Shericka Jackson. Elaine Thompson will not be at Worlds. So that's an interesting dynamic too, because when we look at the Jamaicans against the Americans in the female category in the sprints, we're looking at Sha'Carri Richardson taking the 100, and Sha'Carri Richardson's also running the 200. So we're looking at Sha'Carri Richardson taking the 100. I mean, Shericka Jackson can keep up with her, but Shericka Jackson hasn't beat Sha'Carri Richardson in the 100 this year. Not that I know of. I think Sha'Carri has run the fastest times other than Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, who still runs in the 10.6s. So if Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is in the 100, then I think she's going to win the 100. There's no doubt in my mind she's going to win the 100. Yeah, she's just going to win. And I think second place, we'd be looking at Richardson. Third place, I don't know. It's a toss up from there. However, the 200, I'm thinking Gabby is gonna take the 200. But Shericka, that's gonna be a good battle. That's gonna be a good battle. So yeah, I think Americans are gonna come out on top in the 200, but I think we're gonna lose the 100. I just don't think Sha'Carri Richardson is going to beat Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. It would be nice though. But if Fraser-Pryce does what I think she's going to do, which is going to get out there quick and catch a flyer all the way up to the 60. Um, and Sha'Carri Richardson doesn't get a great start. We know her start still needs work. She has great afterburners. She has great form. But the time it takes her to build up speed, Shelly and Fraser Price will already have that speed. Yeah, it's just I can't, I can't see it. But hey, Fraser Price has been caught before. But when it comes to the big events, it's hard to match her. It's hard, and there's no Elaine Thompson, so like I said, Sharika Jackson in 100. Let's see who else is gonna be in 100. Thomas is not gonna be in 100. I mean, you got who else is gonna be in 100? Hell, I don't even know. Hobbs, she's not gonna be in 100. She's the second fastest in history in the 60. Tamara Clark, no, nope, she's not going to be in the 200 either. TT Terry's not going to be there. She lost in the 100 and in the 200. I likes me some TT Terry. I'm glad she's running the 200 now. She's going to live and learn from that. Is Jefferson going to be there? I don't know who's going to be there. I don't think Abby Steiner's going to run the 1 or the 2, so I think she's out of it. So I don't know who else is going. Tamari Davis. Well, that's from another country. I was talking about from America. But yes, Marie-Josée Ta-Lou, she is, 36? Just ridiculously fast. She's still running 1085. So she's always a threat. From England, of course, you got Daryl Nita. And you also have Dina Asher Smith. And then you got not Aaliyah Hobbs. Aaliyah Hobbs is not running 100 or the 200. Now there is another Hobbs from another country, a white woman. She's gonna be at Worlds. No, Aaliyah Hobbs won't be there. Then you got people like Cambucci, Lucan Camper. You got those runners in 100, but none of them has run the times. Aaliyah Smith, I don't know who that is. But none of those, even though Cambucci and Luca Camper will surprise you, Cambucci's won the 200 and surprise everybody. But they don't run Gabby Thomas times. They don't run. Yeah, Asher Smith, she'll be there from England. Yeah, so I'll be looking forward to them. And you got the 400 women's. The 400 women's is an interesting race. You got the young lady from the Bahamas who's doing her thing, but when we really, are looking at who can win the women's 400, yeah, Tamari Davis in the 100 for America. But she's still not going 10-7 yet. So I don't look at her to pull off an upset. She's still growing though. But yeah, so when we're looking at the women's 400, we got the young lady from the Netherlands. She's running, 50 flat. She's also great in the hurdles. But the American hurdler who got a bye because she didn't have to run, so she got a bye. She went ahead and ran the open 400, and she killed it. Zoe Hobbs. Zoe Hobbs is the white chick, right? Who's ran under 11. But yeah, so I think America is definitely, we have the record holder in the 400 hurdles. However, she's been trying to run the 400 too. She doesn't know if she's going to do the 400 hurdles and the 400. She's definitely going to run the hurdles. So it looks like America is going, not unless, something happens, but when it comes to the 400 hurdles, America has the 400 hurdles down right now. We got the world record holder, and nobody's even close. Not even Dalilah Muhammad. She's just not close to Cindy McLaughlin anymore. And Cindy McLaughlin is running an open. She's running the open four. Her first open four didn't go so well. She came out, went 22 seconds in the 200, gassed out, got caught by the Bohemian in the last stretch. She learned from that. She started clocking what, 23, 3, 23, 2, and almost broke the record. She ran a 48 7-4. The record is held, well, the American record is 48-7-0. Who's helped by the announcer, Sonia Richards Ross. So Richards Ross, she already knows that her record is going to go down. She's even said it. She's like, hey, it is what it is. So she knows her record is going to go, goodbye, because 3 more tenths of a second and Cindy McLaughlin has got you. She's training her body. She's gonna, what she's gonna do in the 400 hurdles is just gonna be ridiculous. She's gonna set such a precedence that it's gonna take 20 years for somebody to beat her, because everybody else is running 54, maybe 52. Cindy McLaughlin's running 50 flat in the 400 hurdles. She's running 48 high in the 400 flat. Listen, if she wants to go 400 hurdles, 400 flat, she can win both of them. And she can get gold in both of them, and she can look at the record. And I think that's what she wants. She's looking at the record for the 400 meters. Now that's like 47 something. That's cooking with gas right there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is. It's 47. Hold a second. It's 47. 47 something. I forgot what it is. But it's held by I think a German lady has that record. Regardless, it's ridiculously fast. But Cindy McLaughlin is eyeballing that 400 record, and I don't blame her whatsoever. I say go for it. In the 800, okay, so the 800 is very interesting now. The 800 is interesting now. Of course, Thing Mo has a bye. She's got her eye on the mile. But I think Mo is going to be disappointed if she keeps with the mile. She just got beat by Nikki Hiltz, who ain't no slouch. However, Nikki Hiltz is, let's just face it, she's not the very best that the world has to offer when it comes to the mile. Faith Kipyegon is the best when it comes to the mile, and there's a litany of Africans who are, not far behind her. Then you got Laura Muir, and it's just you got Jessica Hall. There's some women who are cooking with gas when it comes to that 1500. And I ain't saying a Thing Mo can't do it. I'm saying a Thing Mo, if that's her concentration, I can't see it happening at Worlds this year. But she's a Thing Mo, so I can see her getting her act together. Because of who she is. I love me some of Thing Mo. She's a great runner, great competitor. I've been watching the Thing Mo since AAU. So I've been enjoying Thingmo's journey. Uh, out of Trenton, New Jersey. African parents. I think I think her parents did a great job raising a Thingmo. Just great job. She's well spoken. She, even when she's stressed, she doesn't saying anything crazy. And I think she's doing some modeling too. So I think Mo's just gonna have a great career. She's got, she's just a great a role model and a beautiful woman and beautiful person. So I am enjoying the journey of a Thing Mo. Um, and then there's Keely Hodgkinson, who ran a 155 right on a Thing Mo, had the inside option, and a Thing Mo just outran her. The problem with Keely is she turned around and ran a 155 again, and then she just got beat. And I think she got beat by I forgot the lady's name, but the woman who won the race ran a 157. So it's like, what happened to Keely Hodgkinson? So, but we will see Keely probably run against a Thing Mo at Worlds. Mariah beat her. And we're gonna see the names that are out there. Jimariki, love Jimariki, and that knock knee kick she has. I think we've even seen Laura Muir run the 8, but she's gonna run the mile. So it's gonna be good. That's gonna be a good race. Keely Hodgkinson against a Thing Mo all over again, against Mariah all over again. So we know what that battle looks like. However, there is the collegiate gold medalist. She's joining in the fray. So that's going to be interesting. I think she's running just under 2. I still don't think she's going to be the Thing Mo. I don't think she has but she's young and, that's cool. I do not know what her name is, but I think she's LSU. She won the 800. So she won NCAA. So that's going to be interesting because she's going to Worlds. But we will not have Raven Rogers. That's really interesting. Raven Rogers has lost in a qualifying. She qualified, but she lost in the final round. So don't know what happened to Raven Rogers, but no Raven Rogers at Worlds. Men's mile. Who we got? Cole Hawker? Nah. Bryce Hoppel? No, Yard Nagoose. We got Yard Nagoose, who's running for America. Love some Yard Nagoose. He's gonna be out there running Worlds. In the 15. I don't know. I don't know if Ingebrigtsen is running the 15, but I know I think he might run the 15. So if Ingebrigtsen runs a 15, I got Ingebrigtsen. He's just doing his thing. The men's hurdle, that's also, I don't know what the dude's name is, but he's not American. So he's the record, Volholm or something like that. He's the world record holder for the men's hurdles. So Rai Benjamin has his work cut out for him because this dude is something else. So there's that. But yeah, I just wanted to talk some track and leave your comments. You guys, I'm out of here. It's your boy Tone. Peace, love, and hair grease.